All right, so we're the last of the lead getters, which is affiliates. So we covered referrals, how to get customers to bring you more customers. Employees, how to get employee leads, train them, and get them to get you more leads for your business. Agencies, how to use third parties the way I tend to do it so you can get the most long-term benefit for you and them. And then finally, the fourth lead getter, which is one of the most powerful, also the most complex, but I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars using it, is affiliates. And there's a way to do it right, and there's a way to do it wrong, and I will just show you the way I have done it. All right, so let's rock and roll. So quick story, how affiliates work, how to build an affiliate army, cost and returns and conclusion. That's what we're gonna cover. So quick story for you. So when I started Prestige Labs, which is our supplement company, so I had Gym Launch, we were 3 or 4 years in, and I wanted to start a supplement company, sell through that distribution base, because supplement sales were a big part of how I ran my gyms really profitably. And I was able to do it profitably enough that I actually covered all my marketing costs for my gym immediately by upselling supplements to every customer who walked in the door. So like, I had unlimited marketing budget because supplements covered my cost of getting customers. So I didn't even have to take it out of my service cost of bringing someone in. Them buying protein and a pre-workout and a fat burner and a vitamin all covered them actually walking in the door. And so for a few years I talked about that, but I hadn't given any specific tactics because I knew I wanted to build this big company on the back end and I didn't want to recommend any businesses. And so I spent a year and a half formulating, testing. Dr. Cash, who's a biochemist, made all these formulations for Prestige Labs. We made the whole supplement selling secret selling system, which was the whole thing that how I integrated it into my gyms as I made this massive launch. And truthfully, it was probably the best launch I've ever done of any product. We were super prepared, we had everything dialed, and it honestly went off without a hitch. The way that I actually launched this was, I told everyone, we built up a bunch of hype around it. I like using Whisper Tea Shout, which I'll explain in a second. But that crescendoed into this big webinar where I had all the gym owners there, and I sold, even though I didn't charge anything, I sold a system for selling supplements in any brick and mortar gym, and it was free. And so all they had to do was go in and use it, and then my supplements would serve as the way that they could deliver on the selling system. And I purposely built the selling system in a way that I wish I had been able to do. So there's a lot of things that I wish I had had when I had my gyms that my gyms in Gym Launch were able to do that I didn't. Like, I really wanted to have big high-ticket bundles. I could never get that figured out with inventory because I would sell out too fast. I wanted to have subscriptions that people could get on basically 2 memberships with me, one for service and then one for supplements. So every month I get two paychecks. And so there's all these little things, and I wanted it to be a point of sale that was more like a checklist, not like a checkout page, because I want to be able to turn an iPad to them and say, you want this, this, and this, which is exactly how I sold in person on a piece of paper. So I try to make all of those things digital and make it drop ship for the gyms so they never even had to carry inventory. Because one of the biggest things I hated was every time I'd have to go and do another big program or a big launch, I'd have to go pony up and spend $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 in supplements, hoping that I would be able to sell them afterwards. And again, there was a big cash drag for me because I always felt the money going out and I was like, ugh. Whereas this way, I could just sell it and collect the cash without any risk. And so I built the business that I wish I had had supporting me as a gym owner. And that's what Prestige Labs was. And so I did this big launch. And I spent $3 million in, so like the scale difference, right? I spent $3 million in product, and I spent $1 million custom building this point of sale that was specifically made for gyms. And the next week, nothing happened. No sales came in, barely any sales came in. And the next week, again, barely any sales came in. And so I did the math, and I was like, it'll take us 5.5 years or whatever the number was for us to break even just on the inventory that I just bought. And I was like, I'm an idiot. I thought I was, Midas, everything I touched is gold. And, I started second guessing everything. I was like, I'm an idiot. I can't believe I did this. And then week 3, again, nothing happened. And then the 4th week after me launching this thing, boom, on Monday, we have $100,000 that goes through. Boom, $110,000 on Tuesday. Boom, 100 and something thousand on Wednesday. And I was like, holy shit. And I actually was able to find the screenshot of the first 5 weeks that everything started picking up after I did that supplement launch. You can see 429,000, 383,000, 411,000, 404,000, 452,000. And that was every week of sales that I was going through the system. I was like, it's working. And the difference was I wasn't selling anything. Our gym owners were selling it on our behalf. And so not once did I get a lead for my supplement business. The gym owners got leads for their business, and I integrated my business into their business. And so that every month when they got a new member, they would also sell them supplements, and those supplements happened to be ours, and they were specifically formulated for gyms to make their lives easier. And that is how I built Prestige Labs into a business that ultimately sold for many, 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 many millions. All right. So if you want, this is actually a fun side note. I actually made a podcast, so it's episode 98 called I Remember. And it's, so if you want to go back in time, you can hear like young me talk about my thoughts and concerns the night before the launch. So like you can go, that's actually kind of cool. This is why I like I'm excited for 10 years from now, like for some of the things that we're documenting now, but you can be right there with me. So like you can hear what I'm thinking before I know it's going to happen. And this is before I knew the success it would become. I just knew that I spent $4 million and a year and a half or a year and change putting all my life into this thing and just hoping it was going to work. And so if you go to my podcast, The Game, and look for episode 98, you could actually listen to exactly what I was going through like the night before this launched. So that was a quick story of how I used affiliates in that business. I also used affiliates in Allen, my software business, and I've used affiliates in a number of other businesses over time. And so I feel pretty experienced with them. I think we've generated at this point over, it's either 50 or 75 million. And you're like, how can you have that range? I honestly just haven't checked the financials on Prestige. It's probably 75 million by now in lifetime sales from affiliates. So I feel pretty confident in saying that I can easily explain what has worked for me, okay? So an affiliate is a lead getter. They are an independent business that tells their audience to buy your stuff. That's what they do. All right, affiliates seem like referrals on the outside, but are much different under the hood. And so it's more of a business-to-business agreement between two business owners to mutually work together for both of their benefits. So if you think about it from the gym and supplement example, it was simple. I provided a lot of things. I fronted the capital. I managed the warehouse. I allowed them to sell things they otherwise wouldn't be able to with no cash risk. And I gave them really generous commissions, more so than they'd probably be able to make on their own anyways. And so it was all upside for them, and I simplified the point of sale, and I gave them training so they could sell even better, right? And so these were all upsides for them, and basically for them, I could help them cover their cost of all their marketing with this thing. So they could now outspend their other gym owners down the street who did not have us as a partner. Right? That gives them a sustained competitive advantage. And for me, I get free customers and I just handsomely pay them for doing so. Everyone wins. And that's the game. It's a win-win. And so here's why you want an affiliate army. So if you remember from before, it's like you can go get customers, and at some point you'll have a crisscross where you sell a certain amount of customers and you know what their lifetime value is, and then you will not grow anymore. You will plateau. But here's an interesting thing. If every month you get affiliates instead of customers, then every month that affiliate brings another, let's say I get 10 affiliates and the lifetime value of an affiliate is $10,000, okay? Let's just say that. Which means every month I sell 10 affiliates, I add another $100,000 to my business, which means month one I do 100,000, month two I do 200,000, month three I do 300,000, month four I do 400,000, month five I do 500,000, and so on and so forth. Versus me just trying to sell 10 people every month that are worth $10,000. I would plateau at 100,000, I would never grow. That is the value of affiliates. So even if I don't increase my outreach or increase my advertising, if I know that the affiliates, if you think of them as little customer nodes, each one of them is going to pop off new customers to me every month. So every month I add more nodes that pop off customers to me until eventually I have this army of affiliates that are just pushing traffic my way because of the incentive structure that we have, okay? So fundamentally, that is how affiliates give you tremendous leverage in getting more customers. So do affiliates use the core four? Absolutely. But who do they use it for? Us and them. They do it on our behalf. I don't need to go market to get supplement customers. I let them get gym customers and then sell my supplements to them. See the difference? Huge leverage though. If you get 1,000 gyms to sell your stuff, you're bigger than 99.9% of supplement companies, and you never sold a customer directly. Interesting, right? And the size team that you'd need to sell 1,000 gym owners is the same size team you need to sell 1,000 weight loss customers. Same size team, way more leverage. So, like, okay, how do I build an affiliate army? Well, step one is you find your ideal affiliate. Just like we found an ideal customer, we find the ideal affiliate. So an ideal affiliate has a business with a warm audience full of people just like your customers. And what you want to do, at least what I've done every time I've done this, is I actually make a warm outreach list. Remember the core four? I use warm outreach to go get my affiliates. So I start making a list of all the businesses that I think would be really good partners for me in this. This is why I wanted to go over the core four first, because the core four enables the four lead getters. And you have to understand the bidirectional relation between those two things. And if none of those things come to mind, of like, okay, sure, Alec, well, you have a list of contacts of people that you know, or you know top of mind, whatever, well, then this is what you want to answer about your ideal customers. What do they buy? Who provides that stuff? Where do they go? What businesses are in those surrounding areas? What do they like to do? Who provides those services? And if you're in a direct-to-consumer, The employers of your consumers also make great affiliates. What type of businesses do they work for? What kind of jobs do they have? So for example, if I had a massage studio in a local market, I might say, okay, well, how many big corporations are here? Well, how many employees do you hire every month? Oh, we hire about 10 employees. Well, could I give every new employee that comes to your business 2 massages for free? And maybe do a lunch and learn, and once a month I'll just give all your employees massages? Sure. What does that cost the business? Nothing. And it adds value to their employees. The new ones feel like they got some value for being welcomed and onboarded. And what do I get? They market on my behalf to go get me customers. And the lead magnet I have is the free massages that I hand out to the new guys, and the once a month that I go in there with two of my crew and we give everyone a back rub. Cool. That's how this works. And so we want to ask these questions, and if you do answer these questions truthfully, you use your noggin, look on the search engine, and you'll find some businesses that will meet these requirements, okay? So once you have your list of businesses, you make them an offer. So you make the affiliate offer and advertise it the same way we would any other offer. We call out to our audience, we show them the value elements, then we give them a call to action. Hint, this is either a new way to make money or a new way to provide value to an existing audience. All right? In a B2B offer like I had with the gym owners, it was a new way for them to both provide value to their customers and make more money. Win-win, right? Now, in the employer example for the massage studio, the corporation's not going to make more money, but it's a way for them to provide value for free. So that's a big benefit for them. And so that's the idea, is we just want to find a way that we just help them for basically no cost. And when you can tie that, you tie yourself in to how they go market on your behalf, and that gives you leverage. So just as a quick thing of like what this might look like. So call outs for potential affiliates often include stuff like this. So affiliate business owners themselves, you could say attention spa owners. You could also talk about affiliate customers. So do you work with busy professionals who spend all their day in meetings? You could also talk about the results affiliate businesses promise. So to the heroes who heal the stress of others. You could also talk about products and services the affiliates deliver. So if you sell lotions or scented oils, this is for you. Or you can say to your own customers, do you know anyone who owns a spa? Right? These are all different ways you can think of call outs for making your affiliate offer. Again, we're using the same advertising principles as earlier. I'm just giving you examples. All right? And so now that we can grab a potential affiliate's attention, let's make it worth their while. So now we go through the elements of value, same as before. There's an unlimited amount of ways to show value, but all money-making offers, if you are talking about helping them make more money, which fundamentally most B2B offers are, they follow a similar structure. And that's good news because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Most affiliate money-making offers show value something like this. Make more money from your current customers and get more leads from your current offer for less. That's the dream outcome. With a high chance of working since your customers already want the product, perceived likelihood of achievement, without needing to build, deliver, or provide customer support for the product yourself, effort and sacrifice. So you can start selling it tomorrow and making money. Time delay, 0, right? And so that's a pitch where you're saying, hey, I'm all upside. I've maximized the benefit, I've minimized the cost, which is a great offer for you. Now the key, especially with affiliates, is identifying the hidden costs. What are the other things they're going to have to do? So sure, many people want to sign up affiliates, but that's usually because there's work involved for them. So how can we massively minimize, how can we minimize the work that they have to do to sell our stuff? And that's all the pre-work we're going to do to make it seamless for them and easy for them to sell our stuff, okay? So once we've called them out, and now we get to qualify them. So that's step 3. So potential affiliates become actual affiliates when they understand and agree to your terms. All right? And just like customers, we want to get them their first win as fast as possible. So we set up our terms to force them to win as fast as possible. Remember the guarantee? How we said, hey, do these things, you get the guarantee? Well, we set up the terms of our agreement the same way. So way number 1 is you make them a customer. So think about it. If I say, hey, I want you to sell my supplements, what's the first thing I'm going to say? Buy the supplements. I don't want you to sell unless you've tried it. Be ethical about it. Try it, and if you like it, then sell it. If not, then I don't want you selling it because you won't believe in it, right? And so the first thing you do, ethically, is they buy. Now, this also creates some buy-in from them, so they have a little bit of skin in the game. Now, mind you, the first sale has nothing to do with the lifetime value of this customer. It's really purely as an activation threshold. That's all it is. And so I wouldn't try and price this really high. You just want to get them enough that they care. Way number 2 is that you make them an expert. They say, hey, I want to sell your stuff. And you say, hey, listen, you got to know what you're talking about. All right, so I want you to go through this little certification, and once you do go through the certification, then you can sell the stuff. Because otherwise, they start to dilute your brand. They start making promises you can't deliver on. Right? And this is a long-term brand play. And so once you have that, you set the bar to get them some skin in the game, and you certify them to become an expert in your thing, and that can take 10 minutes, or that can take a week. It just depends on how complex the thing is that you sell. Step 4 is figuring out what to pay them. All right, so the first bigger problem to solve with affiliates is getting them bought in. But the second biggest problem is how to keep them bought in, all right? And so they say, hey, what are you gonna pay me? And so you say money and free stuff, all right? It's one of my favorite things to pay, because if they are consuming the product, which ideally they do, because many of their audience usually participate in the same thing as the owners of that, then they get free goodies and knickknacks in addition to money. So, number one, we have to figure out what they get paid for. What exactly do I want the affiliate to do? Once I figure that out, that is what I pay them for. Number two is how much they get paid. So for me, I determine that as the maximal allowable cost to acquire a customer. So if I know what my 3-to-1 is, and I know what my gross profit is, then I know a third of that is my maximum that I'm willing to pay in order to keep my business economics making sense. And so let me give you an example of what maximal allowable CAC would translate into an affiliate structure. And there's a lot of things you can probably take from this. I'm gonna give you a little behind the curtain look. Of course, this is my curtain. You want 3 tiers. I learned this from an affiliate expert. So the private equity firm that bought Gym Launch actually hired a really expensive consultant to come in and walk through the affiliate program. And he shared a couple of really important nuances that I'm gonna share with you right now. So let me just save you millions of dollars of mistakes right now. So one, he said, don't do 5, don't do 2, 3 tiers. Everybody understands 3 tiers, 3-tier structure. It's like, okay, good to know. He said tier 1 is the one that everyone gets, and that's small. Tier 2 is once they do the key activation point. Now, key activation can be whatever you've already determined from your most successful affiliates. You reverse engineer the things that they did, and you make that the activation point. So as an example, it could be, hey, buy the products, go through the certification, get certified, and use them for a month. Once you do that, you bump your affiliate commissions just by doing that. What's cool about that is that it's an activity-based bonus. So they have complete control over that. And so tier 1, everyone gets. Tier 2, they get after they have some sort of activation. And then tier 3 is when they become a God level affiliate. When I say God level, I really just mean what is the level of sales that you would say is material or above the threshold that you're like, this is a high producing affiliate, right? And that may depend on your business. For some people, it might be $500 a month. For some people, it might be $50,000 a month. It just depends on the business. All right, and so now let's walk through this example. We determined our maximal allowable CAC was $40 on a $100 sale. Let's just use that as simple math, okay? So tier 1, we put as 25% of that maximal allowable CAC. So it'd be a $10 payout, okay? So anyone who agrees to my initial terms, so they sign up and buy products or they buy a certification. Okay, they buy it, fine. Well, they haven't gone through it yet, but they bought it. Fantastic. Tier 2, they get 50% of my maximal allowable CAC. So they get a $20 payout, and they get that, or they earn that once they activate. So example is actually finishing the certification they bought, doing a specific number of posts, or outreach, or doing a launch, etc. And this gives them a nice reward, twice the pay forever, for activating. Tier 3, which is 100% of my maximal allowable CAC, is that you do a $40 payout, and that is once they sustain a level of performance. So it might be 1 month or 2 months in a row or 3 months in a row. If they sustain that, then they bump up to the higher payout level, and then they have to keep it there. And that encourages them to continue to promote your stuff. And so the idea here is we want to figure out what to pay them, we want to figure out how much to pay them, and we're going to keep them bought in. Pro tip. So if you can, pay with product if possible. And the reason I bring this up is because product has higher perceived value to them and lower cost to you. So I had this big promotion I called Sell 3, Get It Free. And this was probably one of the main things that I drove in Prestige Labs. So everyone likes free stuff, and often more than what it would cost them to get it. So rewarding performance with the product is a cheap and effective way to keep them winning. So they value it at retail, but it only costs you your cost, which is a nice arbitrage of value itself. So if I give someone $200 in product, they'll value it at $200 because they can only buy it or get it from me for free. But my cost on that might be $40 or $60 or whatever it is. And so I get this huge arbitrage of value of what it costs me versus what they value it, which is one of the great things if you have affiliates who actually use the stuff you sell. Next is you set sales tiers and bonus your affiliates with products or credit towards the retail cost. At lower tiers, you can even compensate them exclusively with free stuff. So that tier 1, they may only qualify for free stuff, and that's fine. So for example, if your affiliates send tons of massage clients, it's totally acceptable to reward your affiliates with free massages. At low amounts, the massage is often worth more than sending them a check for $30, right? So it's like if you had $30 of hard costs, a $70, $100 massage, even though it costs you the same, is perceived as significantly more valuable. So let's give them that, right? Arbitrage of value. But as affiliates send you more customers, they'll usually opt for more money. After all, cashing in 100 massages per month starts to become unrealistic if they're really a good affiliate. All right, and so at Prestige Labs, I offered anyone who sold more than 3 packages per month a free $200 bundle, all right, of their choosing. And so that became really, really valuable. And a lot of people just always wanted to make sure they had at least 3 so they could get theirs free. And so this also made every affiliate a sponsored athlete. So I associated status with maintaining that level. So I said, hey, you're a Prestige Labs athlete. We'll put you on our site, all that kind of stuff. And they also got to say that in their marketing. And when people walked in the door like, oh, all of our trainers are sponsored athletes, I gave them status that they could then use to market and sell their services. So a win-win benefit. And they sold more services, sold more product, right? Win-win. And so they got free products for life as long as they kept the 3 clients per month buying. And I called it sell 3 to get it free. And it rhymed, which, I love me some rhymes. So step 5 is we get them advertising with usually a launch. And I use a whisper tease shout method. I can't remember the first time I heard this, but it has stuck in my mind. And so whisper tease shout is just a simple way to do a launch. I like having this as an integration into their business so they get really excited and get a big win. And then we transition them over to a fully integrated model within their business, okay? So think about call-outs. It's like an ad. The key of Whisper's phase is curiosity. So you keep the product itself a mystery and hint at how big of a deal it is. So you keep the whisper short. So if you've ever seen movie trailers, they're some of the best at doing this. They do a quick 15-second or 10-second reel of the foot of King Kong, bashing through the mud, and then it just says summer 2025 or whatever it is, right? And that might be a year out or 2 years out. That's a whisper, right? Like you saw a foot, you have an idea, you didn't see the whole thing, and they just keep the curiosity high. And the communication they have during the whisper phase is very intermittent. It's very long between each time you whisper about this stuff. So I'm now on version 6 of $100 Million Leads. This is an example of me whispering. Working title of second book in $100 Million series. The distance measured in effort between good and great is wide. To everyone who messages me daily, when will it be done? The answer is when it's earned the right. All right, and so that was version 6. I'm on version 19, and now if you're watching this, then it is live. And so that was me whispering about it. I didn't show the product. I didn't show anything else about it. I just said, I'm working on it. And then people got really excited about it, right? The next phase is tease. So think about tease as the elements of value. So we whispered to call out to their attention to bring curiosity. Now we talk value. So it's time to start satisfying all the curiosity we created in the whisper phase. So we reveal the product. You can see me pulling the little sheet off the box, right? You reveal your product, you make the date of the launch public, and you start showing elements of value. So you use the what, who, when framework from earlier in the paid ads chapter to talk about the value to your audience, all right? That's the tease. And then finally, you get to the shout phase. Think about this as the call to action. All right, so you're giving specific actions to the audience to take when the product launches. Now you start pounding the audience with bonuses, scarcity, urgency, guarantees around being the first ones, and you shout to get as many people as exposed to your offer as you can. This is where the frequency of communication goes way up, and we're talking 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, hours before the big launch. Okay, and so I talked about this. Movie releases are great examples of this. Step 6, after they have this big launch, is that, okay, now they sold a bunch of product, now what? Well, now we want to keep them advertising. So they got this big windfall of money, or they got this big windfall of lots of customers who got happy. Now what? Well, we want them to continue to produce over and over again. So what we do is we keep them advertising, and this is how we do it. So they have the core offer, and then they can give a free giveaway, which is your lead magnet, and then you upsell from your free lead magnet to your core offer. So I'll give you an example of what this would look like. So the idea here is for your lead magnet to make the affiliate's offer more valuable than it would be on its own. This allows for them to charge more for it and get more leads than they could without it. So this is where samples and trials reveal a problem. One step in a multi-step process. These are the lead magnets that we're talking about. So a good friend of mine has an offer where he does LLC setups for new business owners for free. And so he partners with people who sell franchise opportunities and business opportunities to people who want to start businesses and side hustles, et cetera. And so one of the first things that those people need is an LLC. And so what those people who sell the opportunities can do is they now can bundle in the fact that they will get them set up an LLC for free because he offers that. And so they make their offer more valuable, they can charge more for their product, and then he delivers on that free LLC. But guess what happens once you have an LLC? You need other stuff. You need bookkeeping, you need tax and accounting, you gotta file stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And what does he do? He upcharges for those services. And he still gives a percentage of those sales back to those affiliates. And so he, in so doing, makes their thing more valuable so they can get more customers and charge more, do no work on the delivery, he delivers everything, and then he upsells a percentage of those people into his core offer. Pretty slick, right? Now, a different way of doing that would be saying, hey, as a part of signing up for this massage studio, we do this essential oils workshop once a week, and you get access to it. And you can come, and normally it's $200, and you can get it for free. And so then those people go to the massage oil workshop, and you, if you're this massage oil salesman, then go give them the workshop and sell the oils. Now, the fact that you include the workshop makes the front thing more valuable, and then you, as the business owner who made the partnership with that massage studio, make their thing more valuable, and you get free customers. That's how this works. So number one, or step one, or way one, rather, of keeping them advertising is your affiliates give your lead magnet away when someone buys their stuff. That's way number one, okay? And as a pro tip here, one of my favorite strategies to let them use lead magnets that I've already made for my audience for theirs. So I white label my lead magnets. So just make sure your affiliates agree with how you give value and understand your call to action. And at most, a few tweaks in the copy will make your lead magnets work for them. So for example, for gyms, I white labeled with no logo, meal plans, grocery lists, food preparation instructions, eating out guides, all these things I gave them to them to use as lead magnets for their customers, and all they had to do was slap their logo on it. Boom, their audience got to benefit from all my work instantly. And so we both got leads. So I gave them ways to get more leads so that they could get more leads for ultimately my business too. So it creates a nice synergistic partnership. So the second way that you can keep them advertising is that affiliates sell your lead magnet, okay? So basically, the affiliate can sell anything of yours that turns their customers into your customers. It could be a book, it could be an event, it could be a service, software, sample of a product, etc. So same concept as before, they sell their core offer, and then they upsell your lead magnet. And so you say, hey, for 99 bucks, you can go to a nutrition orientation. So they upsell it. Now, a big caveat here is that what percentage of that do you give them? In my opinion, give it all to them. Let them keep it. Because they're going to you want them maximally incentivized to bring people to your business. So I want to give them 100% of that. And so an example of this is like, there's actually a chiropractor business that does a really good job of this. What they do is they actually partner with local gyms. Again, I like to speak from experience rather than pontificate on ideals or hypotheticals, and so you can use these things in your business, okay? And so the chiropractors made these partnerships, and then they would run posture assessment things for people who had shoulder pain, who worked at a desk all day, and how they could get the most out of their workouts while being pain-free. And so a gym owner or anybody who owned a community could sell access to that workshop, a 3-hour workshop for 99 bucks, and keep 100% of that money. And so maybe with their whole audience, they sell 30 people there once a month, whatever. So now that person gets $3,000 for no work besides making the emails or the posts. But then the chiropractor, after providing value to that audience, then upsells a certain percentage of those to their services, right? And that's how that works. Now, again, he could have just given it away for free and said, I'll do a workshop once a month for your customers, which is one way of doing it. Or he could say, you can sell it if you want, and I'll let you keep all the money. Both of those ways work. It's really just about testing which one works better for you. So number 3 is the affiliates sell your core offer directly, okay? So your offer and their core offer become one and the same, all right? So an affiliate sells your core offer directly to their customer and adds another source of income without extra work. For some affiliates, this is their entire source of income. Some businesses work exclusively off affiliates. That's it. That's all they do. A lot of influencers basically do this. They say, hey, I run all this media, and then they push their traffic to 2 or 3 core offers that they monetize, and that's how they make money, right? That is one way to do it. So as an example, they sell your entire massage package, and they sell your entire program or services, and they bundle their services with your paid services and charge an even higher price. So they can either sell just your thing or their thing plus your thing and get a percentage from you and get the piece from themselves. That is the simplest of the models, not necessarily the most effective. I show you all 3 because different businesses have scaled all of these to the moon. And so the case study for Prestige Labs is an example where we've actually done multiple versions of each of those 3 within Prestige Labs. So the first example I gave you was that they give a free thing and then we upsell. And so one of the things that we do at Prestige Labs is that twice a year, we run a transformation challenge. And so all the gyms push all of their customers to a transformation challenge, which is a webinar that we hold for free. And it's a kickoff for this massive national challenge. We have all these prizes, sweepstakes, $10,000, $50,000 prizes for the best transformations, et cetera, right? And so to participate in the challenge, all they have to do is buy product. That's it. And so they push all their audiences to this webinar, and then we sell the product for them. And so they just get money for sending the emails. An easy setup. That would be an example of number 1, right? They give away a free thing, and then we do the selling. Example 2 would be if they charge for that webinar, and then we do the exact same thing. Example 3 is that they just meet with each of their customers and sell them product directly. And so Prestige Labs does 1 in 3. Now, we've never tried to, not to say it doesn't work. I gave you the chiropractor example. It does work there. But what we have settled on is 1 in 3. And so that's real world of what we actually do at Prestige Labs to generate income. And I brought this up earlier, but employees are leads too. And so companies that hire a lot of people make great affiliates. This is great for direct-to-consumer businesses and wildly underused. So I would highly recommend that if you have something that most employees or most consumers would find valuable, go partner with a bunch of businesses and just give their employees stuff for free. It's one of the easy, as long as they have a regular amount of new employees, and most big companies have an onboarding packet or onboarding process, and so you can make sure that it always gets given to every single one of them every time. And so it's just a win-win. And so I think this is like a huge nugget for anyone who does consumer products. So that's how you build an affiliate army. So, all right, cost and returns. This costs money, this costs time. Why is it worth it, okay? Affiliates can't work for my business, the loser said. I don't want you to think about that. I want you to think, how can I make affiliates work for my business? The winner said. Be a winner, okay? So to calculate returns, we compare how much it costs us to get an affiliate with the gross profit of all the customers they send to our business over the lifetime of being an affiliate. That's where these numbers get wild, okay? So, as an example, let's say we own a widget company that grows with affiliates, all right? We sell widgets. It costs us $4,000 in advertising to get an affiliate. So CAC is $4,000. This is a pretty expensive affiliate, okay? And our average affiliate sells $10,000 in widgets per month and stays for 12 months, as in they keep selling for on average 12 months before falling off. All right, so $10,000 per month times 12 months is $120,000 in total sales. The widgets have a 75% gross margin. In other words, they cost us 25% of the retail cost to make. All right, so $120,000 in sales times 25%, which is the cost, means $30,000 our total cost for the 120 grand. All right, so we take out the total cost from the 120, and we're left with $90,000 in gross profit from all the customers the affiliate brings. All right, $90,000 is the gross profit they make us. Now, we pay affiliates 40% of the gross profit. That's why they do this, all right, why they keep advertising for us. So 40% of the gross profit is $36,000 that goes to the affiliate, okay? Fantastic. So here's the gross profit we have left over after the cost of goods and the payout, which is $54,000 left over. So let's find out our LTGP to CAC ratio for affiliates. So if we made $54,000 in gross profit after acquiring them and paying them out, and then we take $4,000 as the cost to get an affiliate, we're making 12.5 to 1. Not too shabby. And that's how the affiliate model works. Now, if those are big numbers, all you got to do is move the decimal over. You can make that $40 and $100 a month, and it still works. All right, just move the zeros as you desire. But fundamentally, that is how you calculate the cost and returns of acquiring affiliates who then promote on your behalf of the business. You chunk up a level and get more leverage. As an aside, when I talked earlier about the core 4 with outreach, cold outreach especially, some people might see that and say, you know what, this is not going to work for my lotion business. How am I going to do cold outreach? Sell people $70 lotions? Like, that doesn't make sense financially. And you're right, it doesn't make sense financially. But you know what does make sense financially? Selling in bulk. So you go and find people who sell the stuff for you. And then the lifetime gross profit of the affiliate of all the people they will sell over their lifetime does make it worth it for you. So there's always a way to use the core 4. You just might have to reimagine the offer that you're selling for the business. So, if your actual LTGP to CAC is less than 3, here are 3 ways to improve it. All right? We lower CAC, which means we get affiliates for less by improving our ads and offers in our sales process. We increase the LTGP and decrease CAC to get more to activate. So if you get them to activate, you actually increase LTGP and decrease CAC at the same time, which is why if I look at an affiliate business, it's usually where I focus a lot of my attention because it improves both sides of the ratio. That's usually by adding in a launch process or an activation process, adding in those affiliate tiers that incentivize them to become active. And then you can increase LTGP on its own by simply making them worth more, by improving the integration process, which is that long-term thing, which is picking one of those 3 strategies that I went over, them giving something away for free, them selling the thing that allows you to sell the thing, or selling your thing directly. All right? And so that, we improve that process, and that extends the LTGP of the affiliate. And that's how you calculate cost and returns for affiliates. And so in conclusion, like referrals, affiliates aren't an advertising method you can do. You don't do affiliates. You don't do referrals. They are people who advertise your stuff to benefit you both. You do the core 4 to get them, and if you want them to love you, then you treat them like customers because they are. They're just different tier of customer, all right? And so there's 2 ways to create a compounding business, and this is a writer-downer. 2 ways to create a compounding business. You can find more people that never stop buying your stuff, or you can find more people who never stop selling it for you. Referrals are the former, affiliates are the latter. So fundamentally, if I sell stuff to somebody, like you buy Coca-Cola or Pepsi, whatever your brand is, you're usually a customer for life. You keep buying their products again and again and again. And so they acquire new customers every month, and then all those customers keep buying for life. They acquire new customers, and then those customers keep buying for life. And so that is how their business continues to compound. That is way one of compounding. Way two of compounding is that every month they sell 10 new affiliates, and those affiliates continue to sell new customers every month. Even if the affiliates sell transactional customers that only buy once, you can rely on the affiliate to sell 10 new customers every single month for you. And in that way, you bring 10 more affiliates in, and they forever send you 10 more customers a month. And then those keep stacking on each other. So both of those ways create a compounding business. You need one of them to build something massive. So here are the action steps. Advertise your affiliate offer until you get 10 to 20 affiliates. Get results with those affiliates and use their feedback to work the kinks out of your offer terms and launches and integration strategy. Then, once you have it tweaked, scale like crazy by turning their results into your first batch of affiliate lead magnets of all the things they did to market and sell your product to make more money and ultimately benefit their customers. And so that is how you launch affiliates.